Like,
my team is very good about saying, I thought you were against this.
The only other note I've got is that we're all supposed to be a little obnoxious.
yeah.
Oh, are we?
Well, just
Oh, I gotta psych myself for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, realistically obnoxious. I mean, if it is a marketing tool that we want to show a potential client, we don't want to be over the top either.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I do have a request of all of you. No, it's a demand. It's not a request at all. Who am I kidding? As you all do, make the team coach look good as we do with coaching. Work with me on this one.
We've got you covered.
That's my demand.
This is a job requirement.
Love it.
We can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Good, yeah, because there's, you know what? Everyone hates role play. Everyone hates role play when you're doing it with your senior peeps. So bear with me here, girls.
Yeah.
It's good. Simple moves, Mel. Just whatever you decide to do, we will accept and respond to it.
Yeah, classic improv. Yes, and.
Yes. So Julie, can you hear us and see us well to the extent that you want to?
yes, I can. And I've got the recorder running, so when we feel like it, we can just roll in.
Good.
Okay.
Breathe.
Breathe.
Pretend Lori's here, sending us off on our way.
Oh, so I realized, I'm glad you're recording this. You'll say, she forgot. So we're just going to start the role play. You're not doing an intro in advance of our role play?
That's going to be done outside of the tape.
Okay, thanks. Okay, then I'm ready. Guys, listen, thanks. Thanks for coming to this impromptu meeting. We've got something really important that we've got to discuss today, and hope we can do it in a really quick order, if you're all right. You might remember the last time we met, we were talking about that really cool idea that came up about time tracking. You know, it's like my Fitbit here. Yeah. And so they're waiting for our recommendation. I thought we'd agreed last time, but I wasn't sure. And so I thought maybe I'd come back to you all for 10 minutes here so we can talk about it. All right?
Yeah, I'm all in.
Not nearly enough time.
What?
We'll do our best, but oof, I still have a lot of problems.
Julie, I wonder if you could just hang on for a second, because I think Lynn said something, and I just, Lynn, what were you saying?
I'm all in. I'm all in. Like, I thought I agree with you. This has been decided, like, we're going, right? Like,
well, I thought so, because it's got so many advantages that I think it's kind of a no-brainer. But anyway.
When did we agree?
Didn't we? Didn't we agree last meeting? That's what my notes.
I thought it was.
What my notes say.
I thought it was last meeting. Yeah, I was pretty sure. But so maybe why don't we just spend a few minutes on it, see where it goes, and make a decision? What do you think?
Yeah. Okay, if we need to revisit, like we seem to revisit a lot of decisions we make. So here's just another one. So let's do it again.
Yeah, never quite sure what to do. I don't know. But anyway, so maybe Julie or Carol,
Well, I can tell you that my team has turned over a lot of problems with this. So one of the things we found, for example, is when you're wearing it, it can't tell whether you're talking to a client or going to the bathroom. And we shouldn't be timing people doing projects when they're in the toilet. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. And I realize that's kind of vibrant as an example. But
I don't know, Julia. I know what you're saying, but I read some stuff, and I'm sure that I was pretty sure that it said, no, there's a way to just pause for personal time, and the data I think it's going to give us. Think of the time it will save all of our consultants around not tracking. It's going to save them a ton. They'll have more time in the bathroom.
Why is this even an issue right now?
Sorry, Carol, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean.
Why are we even having this conversation about this topic? Like, it was just by by my recollection, it was something that came up as, hey, wouldn't this be cool? Half table said yes, half table said no, and then that was it. So like, is this just a coffee conversation? Are we even really entertaining this? Like, I don't,
Well-
like, we've got other things to be dealing with, don't we?
Well, yeah, and yet, what I'm hoping we can do, Carol, is take a few minutes, finish off our discussion about it, and then maybe we can just make a decision and move on. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, that we can just, this shouldn't take too much time. And so that's, I think it could be okay.
Like why, like I'm for this, my team's for this. I mean, this paper-based record stuff, we gotta move into the 21st century here. Like, it just takes so much time, and there's so many errors in it, and everybody runs around on Friday afternoon and fills it in, right? And
We're gonna
then
be
somebody
in the
gets beat up
same
on
kind of
Monday because
problem again. We'll be in exactly the same problem
Why?
just with a piece of technology around our arms. And I can tell you the data sets are complex, and we're scrambling. We're trying to dig ourselves out of this and see how we could possibly give you the recommendation, Kathleen, that you're looking
well,
for.
couldn't we just,
There.
couldn't we just try it? Like I thought you guys were supposed to try it. Like, why can't we
Well,
just
we've
try it?
tried it. We've tried it. And right now we're just in the middle of what we meant to do.
Well,
So, Kathleen,
Well,
would you mind if I interrupted, please, dear?
oh, sure. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Mel.
Thank you. So in the last few minutes, and if I could, I just want to make an observation, and then Kathleen, I'd like to ask you a question if that's okay. So in the last 3 or 4 minutes, if you will, I've noticed in the conversation, as you try to come to making a decision, that you're not clear on what the decision is that you're making. And Kathleen, I'd like to come to you and ask you, first of all, give you a reminder of what a clear request or a powerful request is, and how, oh boy, you guys, I need to talk. Pause.
Keep going. Splice.
Splice thing.
let us splice that out.
Splice that out. Holy jumping.
You know what? Maybe what you want to do is just show up and say and do something a little simpler.
Yeah.
Mel, I think you're trying to string it all together, right?
Yeah.
Just do something real simple. Simple move.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Mel, make a simple move on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm doing a shitty job here.
Can I just ask a question? I shouldn't have probably used the word toilet. I remember I went down this rabbit hole last time we did this, and I just wanted to ask if we need to start at the beginning or if you're okay with that.
We could start again if people want to. That's
I
fine.
thought
by
it
me.
was real. It's a valid question. It's like, is that thing's going to follow me to the can? Does it have a microphone on it? Is there a video? How does it link to my phone? What if I have my phone with me?
Well, as long as our HR representative says we're okay, then we can just keep going and we'll splice.
Is HR at the
I think we're
table?
fine. I think we're fine. We're talking about the
we've got some expertise in the background there.
So think
I
about the
think you're fine.
audience. I'm just going to pause you guys and say, think about the audience.
Mhm.
And because I'm happy to start it again or keep going around what, are we being compelling enough? Are we getting to it quickly enough? Are we giving you what you need?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I feel badly that I brought the toilet back up again.
Mel, why don't you just start it again, Mel? And then that way you've got the reset right away. And I would, if I could just offer this, I would encourage you not to use the word dear.
Yeah, I know, totally.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
not to use
Yeah,
the word
and I should have jumped in
interrupt.
sooner.
Not to use
Maybe
the word
toots.
interrupt. Yeah,
Hey,
not to use the
sorry,
word interrupt.
don't use the word interrupt.
No.
Okay,
Could I step in? Could I
right,
offer an observation?
right. Yeah, and I should have stepped in
Rescue us.
earlier. I was trying to step in earlier, but I It's so easy with body language for real, man. It's not so easy when I'm leaning into it and you guys aren't paying
Put your
attention.
hand up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good point though, Mel, because I wasn't paying any attention to you at all, which is
Well,
good.
which is a good thing, right?
I was sending you energy, like, girl, get in here. You're desperate.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, you
I
want to
know.
let the
I left
group
it
get
too long.
frustrated with us a little bit. Okay.
I don't think you left it too long.
Okay.
You were
No,
right,
I
I
spot
don't
didn't
on.
think so either.
Because I was
Oh,
starting
no?
to get frustrated, so let me get
Yeah,
frustrated
spot on.
first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Were we obnoxious enough? I thought so.
Yeah.
You were real enough. That was
Okay,
pretty
good.
real.
Okay, so we're gonna start again. So guys, thanks so much for joining into the meeting. Can I start again? I'm trying to not use the word guys. Okay, thanks everyone for coming together for this quick meeting. I appreciate it. I really wondered if we could take a few minutes now and just see if we can come to our agreement around that decision, the recommendation we need to make about those time tracker Fitbit pieces that we talked about last time. I'm sure you remember that it's this great new technology that's being made available to us all, saves some billing hours. And we talked about it a bit, I think, last time, as I recall, and, ready to go ahead today and see if we can finalize that, if we can.
I thought we made the decision last time that
No.
we were yes.
Kinds of issues,
Yeah.
all kinds of issues.
So yeah, Lynn, I think when I think back on it, we were almost there.
Oh,
We're
No.
close. And then
No.
there were just, well, close, maybe not there yet. And so want to take a few minutes now so we can finish it off if we can.
I
Well,
didn't,
I'm in.
I didn't think it was a real thing. I thought it was just a passing conversation. Somebody in one of the departments was testing out some technology on a personal note, but that was it. I don't
No.
remember us going down the road this deep.
Yeah, we're on the road.
Yeah.
We're on the road and we're approaching the finish line. Just need to know a little bit about
There's all kinds of
what
problems.
more we need to answer so that we can
No.
say yes to this, because they're putting a lot of pressure
All
on the
kinds of
recommendation here.
problems. All kinds of problems with this technology.
I have some concerns here.
Well, so what if, because we have talked about it, what if we tried this? What if we, maybe, if we stay out of the weeds, perhaps, and just look to the benefits that this might offer us, the time it could save? I think that we could actually get there pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So Julie, you always have a lot to say about this. I'm just wondering if you could maybe just give us high level. What would give you maybe there's something that would give you the confidence to say yes.
Well, the team's been doing testing on the device. We got a couple to test, and what we found so far is they're tracking absolutely everything we do. I know how often my team goes to the washroom, for example, because that turns out to be one of the projects that's being tracked. And frankly, I'm uncomfortable with that. I don't want
We're tracking bathroom use?
tracked because there's a GPS tracking them to the toilet. It's terrifying.
Well, Julie, I wonder if you're not maybe over exaggerating a little. So it has a GPS, but it's not stamping those things and no one's looking for those things.
Well, that might be what it says on the pack, but that's not what we're finding in our tests
Why
because
do we need a GPS?
well, isn't there I thought that there was, an on off, you could, you could, just like your cell phone, you could turn certain things on and
okay,
off.
so
And,
here's
I don't understand what the
something
big
like that.
deal is. Like,
here's the
you know,
scenario. You've got somebody.
have you guys looked at that? You guys looked at that?
We looked at it. You've got the scenario. You've got Bob down the hall who's always talking on his phone as you see him walking in the hall. Does he have time to remember to tap off his watch because he's going to his break or whatever he's doing? No.
Julie,
Privacy issue.
Well, there's a lot of assurances that I've been reading. I think as I read through that there was a number of different privacy settings and protections.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking was, and so I'm not sure that that concern is really accurate.
Like Julie, your team said that you were going to take this away and study it for all of us. And like those are things that I'm sure I remember reading. And like, have your guys even done the, reviewed the owner's manual for this thing?
Of course, they reviewed the owner's manual. The problem is that there's so much challenge in the data set. It's as difficult to clean up as the paper records are. Yes, they're privacy settings, but they're human dependent. It's not like you can just, you've got to do this tap in, tap out. And so we've gotten really bogged down in getting any kind of recommendation that would support doing this. I can give you lots of reasons that we should look for something else.
So
Why are we even looking at this? For what?
So
Oh,
Kathleen, can I jump in here?
yes, please.
Thank you. Kathleen, I know you guys as a team, you've been working on making decisions, and I'd like to ask you a question of what is it that you're asking of the team specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm asking the team, that's a good question, Mel, actually. And I'm asking the team to agree that we can try this new tool because I believe it has multiple advantages. So I want us to make a decision that we can all stand together by. That's what I want.
So, that's great. Thank you, Kathleen. And when you think about what we've talked about before, about a powerful request where it's specific, actionable, it's time bound and negotiable, what else would you add to that ask?
Well, I think what I'm realizing, I'm actually glad you stopped us when you did, because what I'm realizing is we're going back and forth at each other and not getting anywhere. And we have had this type of conversation before, right? So what I want to ask each member of the team to do is to write down specifically the benefits they see to this new technology and the risks, put it in writing. We send it to each other so we can read each other's bottom line concerns. Because I feel like we have lost track here of the pros and the cons. So I'd like to do that, Mel. I'd like to ask the team to do that by Friday so that we can see each other's thoughts and then reconvene next week on Monday to make a decision. That was a lot. Sorry, that was a lot.
That's okay.
But that is what I'd like to ask.
Can I ask?
So I'm in.
team?
I can do that. Yeah, I'm in. I can do that.
I can do that if the cons we look at seriously and we aren't just pushing for an agreement at any cost.
Agreed.
So I'm still unclear as to what criteria we're using to evaluate what a yes would need to look like, or the benefits that are the actual benefits that we are seeking based on what, for what purpose? How does this tie into not only is if this is yes or no, but how does it tie into our whole IT strategy? How does it tie into our people policies? How does it impact transparency? How does it in like there's all sorts
Carol,
to
isn't
this.
that so? Carol, isn't that
Lynn's frozen for a moment, and so I wonder if Lynn, if I can ask you to pause that for a second, please. Just hold your thought.
Yep.
Because Carol, you're raising a point about the bigger implications. I think that's what you're saying. So
Yeah,
please put that on your
Yeah.
sheets.
And
Put that on your sheets around pros, reasons we would do it because it benefits the business, it benefits our teams.
how do we know it would benefit the business?
Well, that's what I'm asking each of you to assess. Using your knowledge, using your experience, I want you to assess what you see the benefits to be.
Knowledge and experience with what? If we haven't, I mean, I have no idea this tool. I don't use a Fitbit, so like I don't have an ankle bracelet, like, you know, like I don't use
Yeah.
technology in that way. So
Yeah.
like I
Carol,
have no idea.
I see what you're saying, Carol. And so my ask of you is maybe a little bit different. So as I listen to Julie, she and her team have been looking at this closely. Lynn's had an opportunity to do that with her team.
Yep.
If you have no experience or knowledge around it, could I ask you to write down what your questions are so that you would be able to feel informed before you make a decision?
Well, I don't know. I still see that. I understand what you're asking. I still see it as a bit of a, I don't know if that's going to direct my time or use my time effectively. Maybe, I mean, if two people have already had the benefit of testing this out and I'm the odd person out here, maybe I'll have conversation with Julianne, with Lynn. How about that? And then I can come from a better place of education because I'm feeling really behind. I don't know what's happened since our initial conversation to here. Sounds like you guys have been having other meetings or conversations without my participation. And so I'm kind of playing catch up, I guess. But it sounds like I've got a whole bunch of questions and concerns that nobody's thought of. And that's a concern. So,
Well,
okay. All right, I'll talk with Julie and Lynn.
Okay. Carol, will you, and first, Lynn and Julie, are you okay with the plan?
I'm okay.
Writing things down?
Yep.
And speaking with Carol before
Yep.
Friday. Is that doable for each one of you?
Yes, Carol, I could set up time for you with me or my team either Thursday or late in the day Wednesday.
Let's do
And-
late in the day Wednesday. That works great. Thanks, Julie.
Okay, you're welcome.
And if I can just restate what we want to do with this information when we get it is next Monday at our regular meeting, we are going to come having read everything that's been circulated, come ready to discuss, and we will make a decision based on whether to make the recommendation of whether we want to use this tool or not and why. So that when I have to go, the CEO and say, here's our recommendation and why, that's the information that I need, and to know that we've agreed on that.
Okay, I can do that. And Carol, I'm just writing reports, reading over the next days. So you just book whatever works for your calendar.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll send you an email. Thanks, Lynn.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone.
So we're done?
Yikes. God. Why do you guys make me do this?
Kathleen, way to go. Of really
And-
taking Melanie's opening and just building on that. Mel, I just loved how you smiled and held space and right on. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Kathleen, thank you for fulfilling my demand.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good. No, it was good. And Mel, every one of us have had heart pounding, sweating moments. I actually was glad you did one move, not two.
Yeah.
And,
You did do
and
two
then
moves.
if you could, but see, then you could speak to a move you would now make because now they'd seen us. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
so you can even as a wrap up say, cut us wherever and say, and here's what are you noticing? Here's what I'm noticing.
Yeah.
So you can talk about a next move without having to actually make it.
And actually, Mel, you did 2 moves. You asked the notice question, and then you did the teach.
Right.
So you did 2 moves. And I thought, you know what? We can just put up the slide now that says, here's the summary of the request. It doesn't need to be, right? We can just
Okay.
roll this as one piece, I think.
Well, of course, yeah, my clear
we can split it,
because my clear requests are still pretty long.
Well, you used a really good.
My head, I'm stacking.
No, you used a really good pace for video, Kathleen, to make sure people could follow what you were saying.
Okay. But it requires that kind of thought. Like, that's what was real about it, Mel. It's like, what the heck am I asking these people?
Yeah.
So that's very genuine. Your move was timely and it was clear and
good.
Yep.
Right, to cut through the frustration I'm feeling. Yeah. And it got me thinking, I just keep saying, make a decision. So it was really, the timing was bang on.
Okay.
I will say that at the end where we stopped, I was still feeling anxious about whether we were going to be able to get to an agreement. And I sensed Carol was in the same boat with me. And we might, Mel, in talking about, so what would what might help the team next?
Yeah.
Is there something around making, is this really a clear, come back again? I'm not,
Well,
and we don't want to teach every skill in the book. I'm just thinking this team needs managed progress and accountability.
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah. I was tempted to do a move around. How are you going to make the decision when you come back together? How are you going to make that decision? And then I thought, no, we're done, because we talked about it in the deck about going down many rabbit holes. I mean, we could go down so many, right?
Wisely held off.
Yes.
But to your point though, Julie, we could use this video again, with the decision making as that next move, and not record it or something. I was thinking kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And it tied in, so it's still connected to, no wonder we can't make a frigging decision. And Carol, I thought it was great that you didn't just fall into line right away, right? Because I mean, Lynn did, because she was in line all along.
Yeah.
But Julie, your degree of hesitation was good.
Yeah.
But because you wanted to get everything down, and Carol, yours was beautiful because everybody doesn't fall into line magically.
No.
And so there's lots of, I think, great little, you can make 1 or 2 comments about reminder it's a role play in a short period of time.
Yeah.
For the purpose of demo. But we needed way more time to get to agreement.
Right.
Oh, and you could shift to, I went to authority mode. You can do all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
And I was making a false agreement, really. I was saying, I can write all this stuff down, but I mean, like, I'm not going to change my mind. So there's room for faux consensus too. Yeah, we can do a lot with this. That's good.
Yeah. Lynn and Julie too, the other thing that was kind of scraping through my mind, and knowing the audience, and also that we want to demonstrate team coaching. So I didn't pull in to kind of the soft ask, how many asks did I ask and stuff? Because I'm thinking if I was the audience, there's no way in hell I would do that. So I tried to position it in such a way that if I was just a regular team schmo, I could jump in with that move. So that's kind of my thought process.
Right.
I'm wondering if we have, I'm sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
No, I agree with what you did. If you would have come out with counting, I think it would have confused that audience, because we're trying to enable them really as a team member or as a team leader to go, to look at not so much the context, but to look at the context, not the content, right? And so I think you kept them up in that space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that might be something to, when in the deck, when we're getting them to watch for stuff, maybe it's not so much around the soft asks like that terminology. Do you know what I mean? Like that teaching of the soft ask, but look for things like interruptions, the questions not being answered, fake agreement, you know, wishy-washy questions, like something more kind of, do you know what I mean? Like, so we don't have to get into
Generic,
teaching.
something that
Generic, yeah. Listen, like, and maybe instead of trying to teach the lingua soft ask, listen for things like, you know, I think, I wonder, I'm not sure. And that will be a trigger for you to, you know, ask, what are you really asking, or what, like, to get to that powerful request to the elements. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
we did a good job of spinning as a team.
That's probably a great lingo for, you know, when is a team spinning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, is there any appetite amongst us to do a 4-minute, 5-minute version of this, since we're here together and we're on a roll?
How long was that, Julie?
I'm guessing we went 10, but I don't have a timer on it. I should have timed it, but I didn't.
Yeah, I should have timed it too, then I would know to step in sooner.
I'm just wondering, do we want to run it again and make it?
Do you think it was really 10 minutes?
I don't know. I don't have a good way of testing it, but I don't think
I would
have-
be surprised if
that
it was 10 minutes.
It felt like 10 minutes. but-
I don't think it was 10 minutes.
Okay.
It didn't to me.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Feel like 10 to me. It might have been, but no.
I have no
It
sense of
felt more
time.
like, yeah, it felt more like 7.
Good.
So watch for change list. And given how Jeff can edit this, he could even edit out, because we put the scenario up. He could even edit out some of Kathleen's, right? This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Background information.
Yeah.
Like if we need time, he could clip it there.
Yeah. Like jump right into, we're already in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're already
Yeah.
in the meeting, right?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can also splice kind of the interruption and the teach piece. Like we could,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we can, we don't have to run it as a full
Right.
7 minutes or 5 minutes. Like we can do this part and this
Mhm.
part, so it will not feel as long
Yeah.
as a video too.
Because we did have it in the presentation. We've got it spliced into 2 pieces. We're asking
Yeah.
them what they might do.
Which I still
Yeah.
like that idea, I think. Just as they're spinning out of control, what would you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Do you want to show them the presentation?